What is up, nerds? The Immortal Nerd here, and welcome back to episode 6 of Attack on March Madness. Side note, college basketball March Madness was not canceled, believe it or not. They started March 18th. It was just something I saw, while on the internet, and I didn't really read too much into it, so I don't know how they would, play the games like they would normally. So, but that's that. So, with that out the way, back to the real March Madness, Attack on March Madness. So, going straight into it. Last time I was talking about while Bertolt revealed himself not in his Titan form, and Armin believing that he can negotiate with Bertolt since this occurrence, but that was not the case. The negotiation was a flop, and Bertolt was just, the only reason why he didn't transform was because as he was flying through the air through that barrel, he saw Reiner, pretty much defeated. And if he were to transform, Reiner would have been killed along with the rest, of the scouts. So that's pretty much why he didn't transform to begin with, to try to save Reiner. So that leads to what I was saying at the end of the previous video, what he was telling Reiner before he transformed. He was pretty much telling him what he was going to do and what Bertolt needed Reiner to do in order to, try to stay safe. He was like, I'm about to bring the whole house down, the whole town down right now. So if you can just move a little bit, lay on your backside, since, the nape is where, their weakness is, because that's where they are to control the Titans. He was exposed. So he was like, if you just lay back on your back, you should be fine. They'll give you time to rest up or whatever. But if you can't do it, sorry. It is what it is at this point. So Berto, he had a revelation, I guess, or this newfound resolve since the last time they encountered the scouts. And this is where I was talking about. He was able to get that one up on Mikasa because he wasn't, a fetish or scary, type of person anymore. Like he understands what needs to be done now, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to get it done. So yeah, so when he transformed, he seemingly, disintegrated, everybody that was in the vicinity. So you do see, the main cast or whatever. So like Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Jean, Connie, and Sasha, they were far enough to, not be, killed by the blast, but whoever else was there, they were pretty much gone. And Irvin and Levi, even though they didn't really see what was happening because they was focusing on their own battles, they heard that huge explosion. So without them knowing what exactly happens, they're just, thinking, like, what happened? Like, is everybody okay? Is Eren out of commission? Like, what's the situation, so we can make up a plan, or Irvin can make up a plan to, try to, salvage what we do have left or whatever. But yeah, once Bertolt transformed, he took it upon himself to now pretty much take upon, Reiner's job, or what he was supposed to do, which was go and eliminate the horses, so that way they won't have any chance to escape. So while he was going to do that, he was tearing up the town as well. He was causing fires everywhere, because the amount of heat that this colossal titan emits can, ignite flames. Like, that's just how much heat or steam that his body gives off. Because for this titan, this colossal titan, it doesn't put on any skin. It's just all muscle and bones. So of course you're gonna have that heat can't be contained with just the muscle showing. So that's like one of his abilities. He can emit steam, at a high or low level that can pretty much, kill a person. So they're like, they have him to deal with, and they pretty much don't know what to do. They look for Armin to try to figure out a plan to stop him or prevent him from going over to where Irvin and Levi and the other scouts are. But Armin is just he had an Aaron moment before they got to Shingeki. He was freaking out, he didn't know really what to do, and was like, John, I'm gonna need you to take over for me. I don't know what to do. And John's like, all right, I'm gonna do something, but just to let you know, I don't have a plan. Like, I'm not the person to make up a plan to try to defeat these guys. Like, you're the one to do this. Like, I'm not the brain guy. You are. So that's to kind of give Armin a little bit more confidence within himself than what he usually has. And it was a pretty big deal. It was a pretty big deal because, again, you're going up against the Colossal Titan. That's a huge guy. Second in size to King Rice when he transformed, but he couldn't really stand. But that's besides the point. So meanwhile, with all of that going on, Levi and Irvin on the other side of the wall, on the inner walls of Shingeki, the scouts, they were getting demolished because the Beast Titan, he finally decides to make a move. And his first move was, hurling chunks of boulders, at their way. So he had the quadruped Titan that was the scout that let them know the Survey Corps were on their way, so they were well prepared before they came. The Beast Titan had him gather huge boulders, and the Beast Titan would, take the boulders and, crush them up into smaller pieces, and he would use that to throw them, at the scouts. So the rocks would scatter everywhere and would pretty much, shred them to pieces. And with the animation for it, you can see, like, whenever they do like an outward shot of it, and you see the rocks splattering, amongst the houses where the scouts are, you see like this red tint or spray or mist going, everywhere. And it's like, man, it's like, how many scouts are there? Because he does this, quite a few times. Like, just how many scouts do you guys have? But it could just be the scouts that were already shredded were just getting shredded again, and that their blood was just getting more splattered everywhere amongst new scouts that may have gotten hit each time. But they were getting slaughtered on that side. They seemingly had no chance. They couldn't really go out in the open because that would have been a clear shot for him to kill them, or he would have initiated his line of Titans that he had with them to go kill them or whatever. So they was pretty much in a pinch. So they couldn't use their ODM gear as well because there weren't any tall buildings or objects around for them to use to try to fight back. So yeah, it was looking pretty hopeless for them. So at this point, I wouldn't know which side of the wall I want to be on. I'm like, I'll be like Irvin, stand me right on the wall. Let's put me in the middle. Yeah, so that way I could see what's going on both sides. But yeah, it was pretty crucial. That's how episode 16 was, really. With episode 17 though, this is where they really start to make a move on Irvin's side of the wall. Anyway, he was like, if we're gonna make a move, we have to do it now. Otherwise, it'll be all for nothing. And he gave. I'm gonna just say this. There was a post I seen on Facebook a while back, and it was talking about who, like, a list of great leaders anime, and there were a few up there, and Irvin, he was up there as well. But if I could say a top 5 leaders, he would be number one. He would be number one out of everybody in any anime series. Irvin, I would put Irvin in the number 1 slot. He would go there without a doubt, because the way this man rallies up his crew, knowing that they're going to die like 100%, he's able to convince these guys to ride to their deaths. And it's like, and they know it too, because one of the scouts says, so you're pretty much telling us we're riding to our death, right? He said, that is correct. And he's saying, so it'd pretty much be like, it's pointless or whatever. Like, we wouldn't win or whatever. He's like, that is also correct. He's like, so, and then he goes and asks him, like, so, well, I can pretty much, not do anything then if it's not going to matter, if we're still going to die or whatever, there's no way for you to stop me. And Irvin's like, that's also correct. I can't stop you. So, but he gives a speech on, like, even if what we do, isn't meaningful, does that mean our life isn't meaningful? And he starts going on to continue about what about the comrades of the past, that laid down their lives, to help us get this far, where their lives meaningless and all this stuff. And he was just going in on it. And it was this last part that he says when he got the crew to ride out. He was like, because my soldiers, they don't buckle down in this, cruel world. He's like, my soldiers, stand tall. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage, or something along those lines. But it was so emotional. I know when I first saw that episode for it, I was choking. I was choking up. I was like, yo, where my horse at? I'm trying to ride out too. But man, it was this man. He has a way with words. I know throughout the show, especially season 2 and season 3, he started calling himself a con man, and other people calling that too, and how he loves to gamble with not only his life but others people's lives, in order to fulfill his ulterior motive, which was to prove that his father was right. And I'm like, I really don't have a problem with it. I mean, we get he wins out 100% of the time, so I mean, why not? Like, yeah, some of us do die, but that's because the skill level of the scouts has diminished tremendously, and you see that just from the skill set of Levi versus everybody else. And this is also what sets Levi apart. In this episode, while they were going to their deaths, they were a distraction. They were the diversion. Levi was the main piece for this job to try to take out the Beast Titan. Irvin told him to, while they were, charging, they were going to use smoke guns to try to, diminish his accuracy on throwing the rocks. And, right before he threw them, they would scatter out. So that way their chances of being hit would, be small, but it won't be that small. And that's not really the point. So they were the diversion. So while that was happening, Levi was going to go and kill the Beast Titan. And Levi's like, haven't you noticed, we can't use ODM gear out here. What are you talking about? And everyone's like, yes, you can. Like, don't you see those tall Titans lined up in a single file line for you? You can use them and kill them while you go to get to the Beast Titan. Simple. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go. And while they were riding off, Levi, he started going, and we don't see him kill the Titans yet because we're still focused on the Beast Titan killing off Irvin and the crew. And since Irvin, he was in the first wave because he had to be, since he was the captain, and if he wasn't, they definitely wouldn't have had gone and didn't themselves. So he was in that first wave that got hit. So he's seemingly dead. And I'm like, dang man, like after that good speech, die on me. I'm like, I'm really feeling you, man. Like you're my second favorite character. You're my second favorite. But yeah, so while he was doing that, the Beast Titan, he was being distracted by it. And once the smoke started clearing from the smoke gun, he looked around and saw that his fellow Titans, on one of his side, they were falling. He's like, how did that happen? Like, my Titans falling? Like, what happened? And he sees Levi charging in at him. So he tried to go into attack mode. And Levi just slips the jab or whatever. So he's behind him. And the Beast Titan thinks that Levi's going to go directly for his nape. So he covers that up. But no, Levi, this is what makes Levi a whole new breed. Like he's built differently. I'll say it. I know you guys see just how hype I am. I'm jumping to everything. But I'll just say, y'all know who my favorite character is of all time for this show. But anyway, yeah. Levi, like, he wasn't going to go directly for the nape. He went for his eyes to cut him so he couldn't see. Then he went I think he went for his arm next. And then after that, he went, both of his legs. So he was just picking this man apart. Like, if you don't go for the kill shot at first, in these type of wars or games. Especially if you fight somebody bigger than you. So you don't go for the direct hit. You go for the you disable them from different areas, and then you go for the kill. And that's exactly what Levi was doing. And he was just murdering. He was murdering this dude. He got him down, and he was right on his nape, and he just started slicing this man's nape apart. And he was able to reveal the person that was inside, the dude Zeke that had the glasses on that beat up Rhina earlier. But yeah, he was exposed now, and Levi, just had him in his hands, and he started talking to him, and just he like cuts the man's mouth, like jaw like wide open, just because this just how savage Levi is. And he was so close to fulfilling his promise to Irvin, because he was going to kill the Beast Titan. He was like, I promise you, I'm gonna kill him. You ride off to your death with the rest of the scouts that you got with you, and I'll promise I'm gonna kill the Beast Titan for you. But he didn't. He decides not to kill him yet. He didn't want to kill him because previously, when they defeated King Rice, they had got a hold of the syringe, the Titan solution that's able to turn anybody into a pure Titan, and they was going to use that to turn one of their own into a pure Titan and have them eat one of the intelligent Titans so they can have their abilities. So at this point, right now, the Beast Titan, he's pretty much captured at this point in time, and Levi is going on in his mind saying, I can't kill him yet. We have the syringe. We can use him to make for him to be eaten, so one of our comrades can have this ability. We have this on our side now. And he was pretty much thinking or hoping that Irvin was still alive, because even if you're on the brink of death, if they inject you with that Titan fluid, you'll become a pure Titan, and once you eat an intelligent Titan, you'll revert back into your human form. So like pretty much all of your wounds or injuries will be gone. It'll be gone. Like the Titans, even if in your human form, you have a special regenerative ability. Because in one, I think it was season 1 when they had captured Aaron and they had him like go to court or whatever. When Levi like kicked him so hard, his tooth came out, and like not too long after it grew back, and he was still in like human form. So they have pretty good regenerative abilities. But yeah, while he was like doing all this thinking, if you too much thinking and no action, you're wasting time. So that's kind of like what happened here. And he got the jump. Somebody had got the jump on him, which was the quadruped titan. He was able to come up from behind and try to attack him, but Levi got out the way, and the quadruped titan was able to scoop up the beast titan, Zeke. So I was like, man, like, why you didn't have to do this much thinking? Like, you could have just got him and just ODM geared out of there, like get away. I'm pretty sure the quadruped titan would have tried to come from behind, but at least you was already up in the air. You would have been ready to try to kill him or just run away with him. So that was like the only setback there that Levi did, because he started thinking about Irvin, and I can see why. I mean, this dude, he's he could pretty much tell you anything and you'll agree with it. like come on, we're gonna ride to our deaths. All right, let's go. But man, that was the by far my favorite episode 17 for this season. It was crazy, the way Irvin's speech, Levi's savageness. It was crazy, because at one point I thought that this episode was the one that the tragedy was going to happen. Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, when I've done other Attack on Titan videos, I was talking about a spoiler that I had seen from Tumblr, from the manga shots, screens or pamphlets or layouts, whatever. And I read a caption somewhere and it said that particular person died, and I was like, no, why, no? But I only read a caption for it, so I didn't see like any like pictures or whatever, so I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. And with this episode, I was thinking that this was going to be it, that this was going to happen, so I was nervous for when that battle went down. So needless to say, this wasn't it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I started thinking to myself, maybe I wasn't, maybe I didn't see what I thought I saw, but still this last season is here, so I haven't watched it yet, so it may come up here. I don't know. I hope not. I hope I was just imagining it all, but most likely not. But anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna be happy whenever it does come. But if it doesn't, good. But anyway, yeah, episode 17 for part 2 of season 3 was the best one for me by far. So with that, after he was able to dismantle or handicap or maim, that's the word I'm looking for, maim the beast titan, but he was able to get away. We go to the back to the other side of the wall with the colossal titan, and Armin, he says he has a plan to defeat the colossal titan. So him and Aaron, they go and try to defeat the colossal titan. And what his plan is that he was going to use Aaron, because he got kicked all the way to the wall where Irvin was, because they somehow thought that Aaron could try to push Bertolt back from getting to the walls. And like, really? No. What do you? No, that's just dumb. But anyway, yeah, he was trying to push him back. Like, he like grabbed him by the ankle, and Bertolt was just like picked up his foot and just kicked him to the wall. So he was like out of commission for a little bit. So Armin, he went to wake him up and tell him about the plan. So what he wanted Aaron to do was to fake being still not being able to fight. And with that, Aaron was the diversion pretty much, and Armin was going to be the one to try to defeat him. But it was kind of like a double play in itself. Like, make it seem like Aaron was the diversion, but Armin was really the diversion, because when he was going to attack, what he did was he shot out one of his hooks from his ODM gear into Bertolt's teeth. So that's like bone. And he was able to stay on a lot longer than what anybody else would, because if they attached to his muscle, it would easily rip because of him dispersing the steam out. So if they was able to land on bone or his teeth, they was able to stay on a lot longer, because it doesn't disintegrate while he's melting away his muscle tissue from the steam. So that was pretty smart on Armin's part to come up with that hypothesis or theory, and then test it out, and it worked. So that was good on him. So all he had to do was hold on for dear life, while Aaron was the actual person to come in for attack. And while this was going on, Bertolt, he was like, "This how you want to end? This how you want to end it, Armin? Like, this was the best you had." So they're like, "All right, I'm gonna give it everything I got now. Make sure you don't make sure this ends quickly." And he just put it in overdrive. The heat just went 10,000%, and Armin's body would just turn to crisp. Like, you can see his skin was kind of melting and peeling away, and he was just like dark black charcoal. Like, his hair was gone, everything was gone. Like, he was done. He was crispy. And I'm like, I didn't feel anything for him. That's to be honest. I'm like, all right, like, it is what it is at this point. I know. I'm not a very good person, but I didn't feel anything for him for it. I mean, I'll feel something for a character that I like, but Armin just not a character that I like. And I don't like his characterization, to be honest. And I believe I mentioned that in season 2, because there were things that he was coming up with that was just too spot on, and it was like, how? And you have no idea, and you guys been saying it. You have no knowledge, no concrete knowledge other than how to kill them about Titans. Like, so how how are you getting to these conclusions? Like, where is this coming from? But anyway, yeah. So when he got turned to crisp like that, and he was seemingly dead, I'm like, it is what it is. So I know I'm mean for it. But yeah, that's pretty much how that episode ended for episode 17. So when we went into the next episode, 18, it opens up with Aaron. He has Bertolt in his hands because he made that the plan was successful. He was able to take down the colossal titan and ripped out Bertolt. So Bertolt, he's passed out now, since he had to use all of that energy to try to kill everybody in the beginning when he transformed, and then kill Armin. So that took up a lot of his energy. So he was passed out, and his limbs was cut off as well, because doing that will also expand the energy for them to try to heal. So he's passed out, and he's walking towards this laid out crisp Armin, and just like, I knew you were gonna do this. Like, why didn't you let go sooner or whatever, or why you had to try to be the hero? But yeah, while he was contemplating all these things, the quadruped that had the beast titan on his back, they saw what was going on, and they was running after him. And Aaron was like, "Oh man, like I'm spent. There's nothing I can really do. So I'm gonna try to use Bertolt as like a hostage, so that way they won't try to kill me. But if they do, I can just kill Bertolt as well, so it doesn't really matter. But that's not what happened. Zeke, he was looking at Aaron and was like, you know, what did he say? He's like, yeah, you don't look anything like your father. And that like triggered Aaron a little bit. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? How you know my father? Like, how you know him? Like, what's your connection to him? Type deal. And Zeke was just talking about, I get it, man. Like, I know how you feeling right now. I know how it feels to be, victim of your father. And at this point, Levi, he makes it back to the other side of the wall now. He's still trying to get Zeke. And he's just like, man, all right, Levi, chill, man. You win. Let's call it a draw right now. Like, leave me alone. But before he left off, Zeke was telling Aaron that he was going to come back for him to save him from this place. And Aaron just like, what the heck is this man talking about? So they go off. Levi catches up to Aaron and was telling him, give me your gear so I can, get back the Beast Titan so we can have them, in our custody or whatever. So that way, if we need them, we can use them. And at this point, while Aaron was, going to do what Levi says, we hear a little cough in the background. And who did this cough? It was Armin. This man is still alive. I'm like, of course they was going to do this. And at that point, Mikasa, she has showed up as well, because earlier they did catch Reina, and because it was Hanji, she came out of nowhere because we thought she died, but her like assistant or whatever title, the guy that's always with her, like her right hand man, he had pushed her down a well so she wouldn't get caught in the blast, and he ended up getting caught in the blast, so he died. I was like, man, dang, that sucks. I really kind of like that dude, but he saved Hanji so she wouldn't be killed. So she was in hiding, waiting for an opportunity to try to strike down. And so that's how they was able to defeat Reina, to get him out of his a Titan form. So they had him, and Hanji was going to kill him because she was like, we've been tricked too many times by you guys, because we know so little about the Titans, and their abilities. So we're going to kill you right now. And Jean was like, no, stop, don't do it. Don't kill him, because if we do, what is separating us from them, if you do this, our mission is to save humanity. Like, we don't want to be what they have become. So she didn't do it, and she told Mikasa to figure out or assess the situation with Levi and Aaron and them, because Jean was like, we can get Captain Levi to inject one of us and have him eat Reina, since we have him now. So at this point, Reina is now captured versus Zeke, because Zeke, he was captured, but the quadruped took him, so we don't have a intelligent Titan anymore. But now they have Reina, and now they have Berto as well now at this point in time. So you have two Titans, but one syringe. They only had one. So they was like, they was going to use Reina for him to be eaten from, one of their comrades, so they can have, that ability. So Hanji was like, all right, Mikasa, you go check out the situation. And if for any reason that, it's, he already used it or whatever, send me a signal so that way we can go ahead and end Reina's, life. So Mikasa, she went off, so that's why she ends up there. But before I get back to there, after she left, the quadruped and Zeke comes through and snatches up Reina. So they don't have Reina anymore. So they're like, all right, well, that's with that. So now it's just Bertolt now. So now they're going to really figure out who they're going to try to revive. And it seemed like it was going to be Armin. And Aaron was like, yo, Levi, Armin, he's still alive. We can hear him breathing. And he checks him. He was like, yeah, he's still breathing. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna give you, get the syringe out so I can inject him or whatever. And he have him eat Bertolt. But in the beginning of this conversation, Levi, he was hesitant. Like he wasn't really saying anything at all. Like even after Eren told him that Armin was still alive, because Levi was still in the zone. He was taking off his gear to get ready to put on some more gear to try to go and get Zeke. So it was like he wasn't really hearing what Eren was saying, but he was like, yeah, I get that or whatever. So he was going to give him. He took out the syringe and was going to give it, to Eren to give him that shot. And as soon as that happened, this other guy named Flock, he was the guy that was talking to Irvin. Was like, what if we don't do anything? You can't stop us. We're gonna die anyway or whatever. That's him. He came up to where they were, and guess who he had on his back? He had Commander Irvin on his back. He was still alive as well. I'm like, oh snap! I'm like, man, I see what they're doing here. But my first instinct was, we going with Irvin. I'm like, freak Irvin. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, freak Irvin. We go with Commander Irvin. I'm like, easy decision. Let's go, Irvin. Let's go. But it was too much emotion in this. It was too much emotion in this. So that's what made it really hard. Especially with Eren, and since Mikasa showed up, she showed up right when they found out Armin was still alive, because she was seeing him, laid out, burnt body. So she was thinking he was dead, but now figure out he's still alive. So they like, and now they got the syringe and Bertolt there. So like, yes, we can bring him back. Let's go. We can bring back our best friend, that we, known since we were kids and all of this stuff, And I'm like, I know where this is going. I'm not really gonna like it, but yeah. But once Flock showed up with Commander Irvin, I'm like, let's go, Irvin, all day for the win. What's all this talking about? Let's go. But no, Eren. He wasn't letting go of the syringe, and Levi's like, Eren, let go. I'm not gonna tell you again. I mean, that's what I would have been like. I'm like, listen here. I'm only gonna say this once, and if you don't let go, I'm killing you for insubordination. That's it. I'm like, that's the end of the discussion. It's non-negotiable. Because I'm like, yes, I get it. That's your friend. Even though I never had any, because I grew up in the underground. This is me talking as Levi. His mom was, pretty much she used her body for money, and that's how she ended up pregnant with Levi, because she got pregnant by, one of her clients, and it didn't look like he was eating, because in one of the flashbacks in the first half of this season, we see Kenny the Ripper. He finds his sister, because that's his sister, and he sees Levi like standing on the floor or sitting on the floor, and he was just pretty much skin and bones, really, like he hasn't eaten in since he was born or whatever. But yeah, he didn't have any friends. He was brought up by his uncle Kenny the Ripper. So he knew how to fight and kill. That's it. No friends required. But so he wasn't really, I want to say he wasn't really understanding. Well, I guess so. I guess, yeah, I could say that he wasn't really understanding, the whole friendship aspect of it. But they kind of like dashes this concept on him while he's the new, head of this new Levi squad, because these guys, Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Jean, Connie, and Sasha, they're all friends, or whatever. So he's seeing their companionship and how they interact with one another. So he's observing them for from afar. He's like, so this is how friends are or whatever. And I guess this is trying to say that, do I see Irvin like this? Is this is how I see him? Do I consider him as my friend? Even though it doesn't really, it's not explicitly said or shown, but I think that's what they were trying to do here, because even before the battle, you had Mikasa, Armin, and Eren. They was outside talking about, their dreams or whatever, about how they was going to take back, their homes. And they were being, they having a, friend, a companion moment. And Levi, he was, off in the distance, hiding. And he was just so happy to listening to them. And I guess that was like his expression was like, so this is what friends, are. Talk about their dreams and stuff like that. And this is kind of, I believe this is what, made him so hesitant to choose on who to, bring back, even though he was telling us like, we're bringing back Irvin. End of discussion. Like, that's it. And Eren was like, there was no possible way that you knew Flock was going to bring Commander Irvin from the other side of the wall to where we are right now. Like, there's no way that you could have known that. And Levi's like, you right. Like, I didn't know that. Because he was hesitant to give him the syringe anyway before Flock showed up with Irvin. And Eren was like, why was you hesitating? Because he was like, he went ahead and tell him, he's like, because I was hoping on the fact that he was still alive. And Aaron's like, yeah, but you couldn't possibly know that that Flock would have carried him all the way over here. And he was like, no, I didn't, but he's here now, so I'm bringing him back. That's it. And Eren, he was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. And Levi, he hit him over the head, and that, caused Mikasa to go all crazy. So she was about to kill Levi. He really couldn't do anything because he had a syringe in one hand. And he was using his other hand to try to keep Mikasa from, cutting his neck or whatever. And I was just like, man, get this girl off of him. Like, let's go. We saving Irvin. That's it. And Flock, he comes in. He's like, you guys are really serious right now? Like, you think you're the only ones who lost a friend, in this battle? Like, no, y'all being selfish. Get off of him. Shut up. Let him bring back Irvin. Because Irvin, Flock called him a devil or a demon. Like, he's a demon, and we need a demon to win this war. So that's why he wanted to bring him back, because anyway, he kind of hated him anyway. But I mean, that's not really his fault. That's your fault. You decided to, join the scouts. You thought you knew what you was doing, but you ended up seeing the real thing, and you're scared for your life now. So that's on you. That's a personal problem, not Irvin's problem. But anyway, yeah, because he saw when he did find Irvin still, breathing and alive, he said he was going to kill him right then and there. But he was like, no, that would have been mercy. So he needs to be kept in this, hellhole, because he's a demon, and we need a demon to win this war. So he's not getting out of this easy. That was his reason on why he was going to bring him back. But I'm like, okay, that's you, but we were going to bring him back anyway, because this is Commander Irvin. Like, even though he's not young or as spry as he used to be, because he didn't have his arm, even though that wouldn't matter because he would have got that arm back. He has experience in warfare. Armin does not. And this is something that we needed. This is something that we need in a war. And they were going back and forth on why each one was, had a big part in, getting them to where they were now. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay. Like, hearing them saying now, like, it doesn't seem like one was better than the other. It was just they played off each other well, or they could play off each other well, because even though they didn't work a whole lot together, if they did, it would be that way. They will be able to work off each other so well, bounce back between one another. One can, ask questions while the other will be like, trigger an idea, like, all right, we got it. And, vice versa. So I believe that's something, or, a relationship or partnership that them two would have had like that, because they're both, they have great minds, and will come up with ideas to see things through or make things happen. So with that, I can see it being kind of hesitant who they would bring back, but experience trumps it all. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be in battle yourself, as long as you have that experience. If you have that experience, you can. That's what we need right now. We need that. So yeah, I would have went with Irvin all the way. So Levi, it seemed that he made his final decision, and he told everybody to leave the area, so that way Irvin wouldn't eat any of them besides Bertolt. So when that happened, they saw Armin becomes a Titan, not Irvin. So Levi, he ends up injecting Armin with the syringe, and Armin eats Bertolt, and he comes back into human form. So Armin has the Colossal Titan's powers now, and we don't really know. Well, he kind of tell us on why he didn't do Irvin, because he was going to bring it back, but Irvin, he kind of smacks Levi's hand out the way. Now, he didn't know that he was going to inject him with the syringe. It just so happened that it seemed like Armin was smacking his hand out the way, saying that, no, I don't want this. Like, let me, be in peace. Let me go out, in peace. Like, I don't need to be here anymore. Because when he smacked his hand out the way, he kind of like reverted back to when he was a child. When he told Commander Pixis the story about when he was in school and his dad was teaching, and he asked his dad the question, like, how can we be sure that there aren't anybody else outside the walls far away from here? How can we be so sure that we're the only, people out there? And he says this again, unconsciously or whatever. And that kind of like did something to Levi. Like, I don't know exactly, but he was just saying, like, yeah, he was the devil because we needed him to be. Like, we made him to be this way. So it wasn't like he wanted it to do it on his own, but the people around him made him become this demon because of what happened in his past. So it's the least we can do is let him, die in peace. Let's not bring him back to this hell. So I'm like, okay, I get it, I got that, but yeah. Again, at that point, I would have been like Flock. I'm like, nah, we bringing it back. No, we need him. We need him. But yeah, that's how episode 18 ends. Armin gets the Titan, the Colossal Titan ability, and they are Mikasa and the rest of them. They're also happy that he's back. And I'm like, I'm kind of salty. I'm salty about this, but yeah, that's how it ends. So that's how this episode ends for the Attack on March Madness. I know this was a long one. I already knew that it was going to be a long one just by my notes for each episodes. They were longer than the other ones. So, because again, this was like a war, or a battle that they was going down, that was happening. So a lot was going to happen. So yeah, it was going to be a whole lot, like almost 20 minutes longer than my other videos. But I hope you guys stayed through the entire time, and if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, get this out there to all the nerds in the universe, multiverse, and alternate dimensions. And I will see you in the next one. The Immortal Nerd signing off.